superstar Jelly Roll dropped 275 pounds, but oddly enough, he lost his marriage along the way.
Now, did a glow up lead to a breakup? Better yet, can extreme weight loss or just drastic changes in one of those in the relationship lead to a breakup? Well, joining us right now to talk about that is relationship and trauma expert. It's Dr. Janie Lacy. Welcome back to the show, Janie. We love having you on here. This is at the forefront right now because a lot of people are speculation, and we should also make mention that this is their marriage and this is their breakup. But it brings up a question. Do you feel that maybe Jelly Roll's new body and his new image maybe might have ended that marriage?
You know what I would say, Mitch, is no. But what I would say is that it wasn't his body in particular. I would suggest that it probably was a year of broken communication. So when Jelly Roll, like as you just mentioned, he lost this 300 pounds. He didn't just lose the weight, he became a different person. New energy, new identity, he had new desires. But Bunny couldn't probably meet him. I didn't work with this couple, so I'm making a suggestion that she probably couldn't meet him in that transformation and he probably didn't even ask her to join him in the healing work. So instead of couples therapy, instead of growing together, they probably just grew apart.
You are 100% right. And well, at least that's what she's saying on her podcast. She's saying it was just a breakdown of communication. And she did have an interview earlier with Howard Stern. It came out and said, when I first met Jelly Roll, he was my project. And there's a lot of that. And she said that a lot. And she's like, and then he kind of went up, against it. And, we don't want to go in the minds of that, but really, couldn't they have survived the weight loss no matter what? Or because of the communication, you're saying that's why they, does there need to be communication, I guess, when somebody wants to make such a big change, I guess is what I'm saying.
What I would suggest, Mitch, is because the transformation without relational awareness, right? It's going to be destabilizing to any couple. Jelly Roll, he even described it perfectly. He felt like a whole different human. Yeah. But his wife was still moving through the world as the woman who married a 550-pound man. And I would probably suggest he probably didn't invite her into that healing journey. She didn't ask the hard questions about what was shifting inside of him, right? We can focus on the outside, but there was something shifting inside of him. When one person involves, and we see this all the time in marriage counseling, and the other person doesn't evolve with them, you've got an identity mismatch, and that's a crisis, which is why they come to marital therapy, because it's not because of the body, but because of the disconnection that starts to form in the relationship.
So, Dr. Lacy, how do couples really survive one partner's glow up? We see this happen so often with couples, and it always seems like it's the person who's not on the weight loss end of it that ends up leaving the relationship. Why do the affairs survive, but the weight loss doesn't in a number of relationships?
What I would suggest is that it always starts with intentional communication and relational honesty, right? As you called it, a glow up, whether it's weight loss, career success, or inner healing, it's not a threat if both partners see it as an opportunity to deepen the relationship. But if one partner uses the transformation, let's say, as an exit strategy, or the other partner sees it potentially because of their childhood wounds as abandonment, you're done. You're just done. Yeah. So the couples that I work with, they make it through the transformation because they're the ones who ask, like, what does this mean for us? Like, how do we evolve together? Like, what do I need? What do you need from me now? And that's vulnerability. And I think, Mitch and Andrea, a lot of couples don't do that. They don't get to the vulnerability because that's hard, but that's how you survive.
You're saying a lot of great points, and we should mention, Jackson, you should brought it up, Jelly Roll and Bunny XO publicly have come out and saying he had an affair back in 2018, and they did work through it. So it is something that they know that the big thing in a marriage happens. So that brings it to us. How do you keep love alive after a transformation?
That is such an important question because, Mitch, you don't keep love alive by resisting change. I can tell you that right now.
Good point.
You keep it alive by growing together, right? When Jelly Roll lost those 300 pounds, he had an opportunity to invite Bunny into that journey. Yeah. Not as the woman who supported his diet, but as his partner in his healing and his evolution. And, Bunny had the opportunity to also ask herself, like, how do I evolve too? Am I willing to grow with this man? Right. And sometimes couples miss that.
That's what I was going to ask. Is like,
Yeah.
okay, so what are the things how do you bring somebody in? Now, listen, everybody knows I lost about the same amount, about 270 pounds as well. 170 pounds rather, and there is such a big change. How do I bring that person into my life, or anybody brings it into their life? Outside, hey, I want you to be on this journey. How?
Well, those conversations, Mitch, they're going to require vulnerability and honesty, right? Jelly Roll and Bunny, right? They're gracious about their end, but we know that they're probably not sharing everything, and I respect that. But the real love move is to look at the transformation, as you just mentioned in your own life, as a moment to choose each other all over again, because that choice has to be made consciously and it has to be made together. And that's what keeps love alive. So you have to communicate, you have to be vulnerable, and you have to do the introspective work. Like, what does this mean for me? Like, what's changed inside of me? And then she can't relate, or the partner can't relate to the person as their old self. They have to do it together.
Man, you're so dead
Yeah.
on, Jenny. Y'all have no idea how dead on she is.
Yeah, so much to talk about. We could talk to you for another hour. Dr. Janie Lacy, thank you so much. We're going to post this interview on our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI. Also, if you want to find out more about Dr. Janie Lacy, janielacy.com.
Very cool.
There is